Hello. Today, I want to talk about intrapersonal conflict. Now, intrapersonal conflict is conflict that goes on within a person. And is it possible for people to have intrapersonal conflict? Yes, and a resounding yes. It is very possible for people to have intrapersonal conflict. Now, first, what is conflict? Conflict is disagreement. Conflict is fight, is war. Conflict is disagreement. Is when you do not come into terms, or when you disagree with something. And conflict is violence, is war. Then intrapersonal conflict is that war that goes in within a person. And we all go through that phase in our lives, and almost like on a daily basis. Like you're going to your workplace. In your workplace, you can experience intrapersonal conflict. You can experience intrapersonal conflict concerning your business, concerning your children, concerning your spouse, concerning your marriage, concerning your finance, concerning your career, just concerning everything. It is something that we all go through at a daily basis, or rather on a daily basis. But, I feel that intrapersonal conflict is more dangerous than interpersonal conflict. Why? Is because it is easy for people to access help when it comes to interpersonal conflict, because it shows easily. People can, because it's a two-party thing, people can easily get to know that something is going on. But intrapersonal conflict is a different thing all entirely. Intrapersonal conflict happens within a person. So it is difficult, except you say it. People might not know that you're actually going through that phase. Conflict can degenerate to so many things. It can degenerate to war. It can degenerate when it is not handled. And then because it's intrapersonal conflict, people may not know until you get to a point where you see somebody that you just say that somebody committed suicide, and you'll be wondering like, how can this person commit suicide? This person, I have known this person, I have been saying it. This person has all that it takes. This person has a good relationship. This person has this and that. And then what happened? The person committed suicide. That's because something has been happening in that person. If it's intrapersonal conflict, then except maybe there's an external factor that has moved that person to that. But even before anybody can commit suicide, the person must have gone through intrapersonal conflict. That is war within the self. Should I or should I not? Should I tell people? Should I do this? Should I do that? Should I do that? And all that before eventually the person takes the decision or the action. So intrapersonal conflict is very, very important for everyone to know and to be aware of. So intrapersonal conflict is, like I said before, it's conflict that goes on within a person. Now, there are a lot of triggers to intrapersonal conflicts. So because intrapersonal conflict can arise from, a situation where people, remember, it is something that has to do with you. A situation where it can arise from, disagreement with how people view themselves. That means identity, it can arise from identity. People view themselves in different ways. And there's like situations where some people will say, I feel this way and I'm this gender and I feel that way. You see, that is intrapersonal conflict. Now, interpersonal conflict can arise when people say, I like this part of my body and I don't like this part of my body. Why am I fair and I'm supposed to be dark? Oh, I would have preferred to be dark, but I am fair, or I'm fair and prefer to be dark. Or I am fat, I would have loved to be slim. There are so many things that can trigger intrapersonal conflict. Once a person disagrees with a certain thing within themselves, it can even be culture, it can be upbringing, it can be environment. When your environment has programmed a certain thing into your mind, and then what the environment has programmed, you may probably, as time goes on, you come to disagree with that. It can result to intrapersonal conflict. Now, there is a word for it psychologically. It's called cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance is like dissonance is war, like conflict, but cognitive is your mind. It's everything that goes through your mind, everything that goes through your information in your mind, everything that goes through your knowledge, everything that goes through your thinking, your reasoning. That's your cognitive. So is cognitive dissonance. That's war that goes on within a person's mind. That's intrapersonal conflict. So this is another level of conflict. So you are having conflict with yourself because you feel you are fat, you're supposed to be slim. You're having conflict within yourself because you feel that, oh, you are fair, you're supposed to be dark, or maybe because you feel like a man and you look like a woman, or your body is that of a female. You can have conflict in so many ways, but this other one is something else. Cognitive dissonance is when information, and I believe that almost every conflict, intrapersonal conflict, has a root in cognitive dissonance, because your cognition, which is your mind, that harbors your knowledge, your interests, your memory, your thinking, your reasoning process, and all that. That is your cognition. Now, your cognition, what cognitive dissonance is, when your mind has two opposing information. Assuming now your mind is saying, this side of your mind is saying yes, and another part of your mind is saying no on a particular issue. That is conflict. But in psychology, it is called cognitive dissonance. It's something that happens to everybody on a daily basis. Like I said before, it's just conflict that goes on in your mind. In the mind, a part of your mind that harbors, or part of your brain that harbors information, that harbors thinking, knowledge, that processes knowledge and all that. That is the part, that is your cognition. Now, all the things that goes on there that does not tally together, because remember that we all gain information every day. As we go out, we gain information, and then our mind filters the information that we gain and then receives some and throw some out based on our perception. Our perception is what we receive as we view things from our senses. Then it goes inside of us. It could even be how we were brought up and all that. But then when this comes into us, how we filter these things, and then what remains in us, what will make knowledge out of it. And oftentimes we have a situation whereby we have one knowledge, and then later we start having opposing knowledge. Let me take for instance now let me say use this for instance. You have a situation where as a Christian, you have been drinking as a Christian, because there are some Christians who believe in drinking, and then you have been drinking as a Christian, and then suddenly a pastor preaches a message that touches you, and the message says, do not drink, you go to hell. Now, you are a Christian that drinks, you believe in drinking, and now there is another information that has come, cognition that has come to say that you are not supposed to drink. When you drink, you go to hell. Now you have two opposing information. That is cognitive dissonance. Now you have dissonance, that's conflict in your mind. So you have this one that says, okay, if you drink, it's okay for a Christian to drink. There's another one that says you are not supposed to drink. When you drink, you go to hell. So you have these two opposing information in your cognition. Now, this opposing information that you have is called cognitive dissonance. That's conflict of your cognition. Now, we all have this going on every day, but then our mind have a way of resolving it, because whenever there is an issue, we have a program in our mind that helps us to, want to arrange, want to settle this. Just the way you as a person, you have people, when there's a misunderstanding, people want to come in and then settle it, or probably the two parties at a point want to settle, or maybe a third party may want to come and help to settle. Our mind also has a third party that want to help us to settle, because it cannot remain, you cannot just remain having this opposing information. It will be disturbing you. So our mind want to generate, that is our cognition now, want to generate solution to it. And this is how we generate solution to our cognition, to our dissonance, or when we're having conflict within ourselves. Now, it is not all that you generate, all the, how do I put it, all the resolution that your cognition generates that is actually true. Because now let me take, for instance, you can, maybe you have heard now that, okay, drinking is bad. One says, okay, I've been drinking now. This one says drinking is bad, you go to hell. Now, you can as well just look at it and just go away from it and say, okay, since drinking is bad, let me just walk away. What your mind will do is to either give you something else to replace what you have believed in before, or create or maybe modify what you believed before. Now, one of the things that your mind will say as a Christian is that Proverbs 23:20, drink and don't get drunk. 1 Timothy 5:23, a little wine for the stomach sake. I've heard that a lot. So, you come up with all this and then you say, my pastor drink and this person drink and that person drink. So if the scripture actually say a little wine for the stomach sake or drink and don't get drunk, that means I can actually drink and don't get drunk. So once you have believed in that, you have come up with a new cognition. So that now gives your mind balance or gives you ease. And this is how we all generate things that's kind of, we all generate resolution in our mind concerning the things that bothers us, concerning the conflicts that we all feel inside of us. But I'm saying this because oftentimes it might not actually be the right resolution that you're giving to yourself, depending on what your issue is, or what you are having conflict about. Because with this, you can understand how we have all come to where we are today. There's so many things that we did not believe yesterday, we are all believing it today. And many things that were not what we knew yesterday that was good, today they are good. Because one person can just come up with this thing because the mind has fought against it and then has given solution. And then this person is able to sell that solution to somebody else who is not comfortable with whatever cognition that he has received before now, who is not comfortable with that, and then take this and receives this particular new cognition and then take it as a balance within themselves. So you either modify or you create new one. So they either modify or create new one, and to keep the body going, or to keep the mind going, so that you don't go mad. So this is how we create balance for our mind. However, when you are going through a situation in your life where you are having conflict within yourself, knowing that conflicts can degenerate if you don't have the right answer. Because I use this now to tell you that we can have conflict in our mind also. We also have conflict in our emotions, within our emotions. There are a lot of ways we human beings can have conflict. I can go on and on, because sometimes you have information, or probably as a child, as you are growing up, you have information concerning a certain thing that, look, you are influenced probably by your mother, father, because your father your mom is a dark woman who is beautiful and have a certain lifestyle, and probably that is your standard for a woman. And then as you grew up, you are liking all the women that you are attracted to are women that or attracted to you are women who are like that. And then as you grow up, somebody else is influencing you now, making you to feel like, okay, fair women are better. They are like this. A fair woman like this, a fair woman like that, or a fair woman with such characteristics, they are better. Now you have two conflicts, a cognition in you that are conflicting with itself. And then this is why you see that let me not go further, because like I would always say, I'm not a relationship coach, but when it comes to matter of the mind and matters of the soul, I'm an expert. But I can tell you this, that you see, this is part of the reasons why you see people don't find it difficult to make decisions when it comes to, okay, who do I choose based on this, based on that, because they have two cognition in their self that's fighting. It's not the fault of the two ladies or the fault of the ladies involved, but it's just the fact that they're finding it difficult because they have conflicting cognition in them. That's cognitive dissonance in them. So until they settle it, they must to come to a point where they have to settle it in themselves that, okay, look, okay, I know this one is this, I know this is this. They must come to a conclusion. Now that conclusion might not be what is good for them, because you might come to a conclusion that, okay, this kind of a characteristics of such is better for me, or a characteristics of such is better for me. But eventually, when you make this decision, you discover that it's not the best for you. And that is why you cannot just totally rely on your own, what you generate when you don't have information. And that is where information is very important for you as a person. You gain information. When you gain information about some certain things, it helps you to make the right decision when you're having cognitive dissonance, or when you have conflict within yourself. When you are having conflict within yourself, go for information, go for counseling. This will help you generate more cognition. It will help you to now be able to say, okay, this is the decision that I need to take concerning this situation. Or now I'm feeling this way and I don't feel comfortable being this way. There are a lot of plus size ladies who are more comfortable in their size than slim ladies, or yeah, than slim ladies. There are a lot of slim ladies who are not comfortable with themselves. They want to be like the plus ladies. So at the end of the day, it depends on what is registered in your mind, or what the cognition, what you have in your mind, which is your cognition, what you have there. So if you have enough information inside of you pertaining whatever is causing issues within you, it will be easy for you to work it out, because at the end of the day, it is the information you have that is fighting itself. So the more information you have, the more information you open yourself to, the more knowledge you open yourself to, the more you are able to fight, you are able to establish to make the right decision. If not, you just keep making all the wrong decisions. So we all go through conflict, personal conflict, which psychology calls cognitive dissonance. However, you know, like I said before, your brain will want to solve it out for you. Your brain wants to give you solution. But I would say this, that look, now getting more information concerning whatever you are trying to settle within yourself is very important. So speak to a coach, speak to a counselor, get information, read, and then get enough cognition, enough information inside of you. That way you are able to pick, your mind will be able to select the one that has the one that is more, the one that has a better information, let me put it that way, a more powerful information for you to choose to work with. I hope this helped you. I'll make more videos on this to help us in the future.